Hello and welcome to Math with Tiffany. Today we're going to be covering radicals and fractional exponents. Okay, so we're going to first start with the law of fractional exponents. And that law is if you have a number x to the m divided by n, so you have a fraction as your exponent, that equals, take your n right here and we're putting it on our radical sign, n to the x to the m. This can also be written as n x raised to the m power. Now we're going to talk about this is called a radical statement, and then we're going to talk about the parts of a radical. So if you have a radical n square n radical sign x to the m, so the n right here is called your index. The root sign is your radical symbol. It's also called like using your square root sign, but that is inaccurate. It's just your radical symbol. And inside your number here is your radicand. Your radicand. And this is important to know because I'm going to be calling this number an index throughout this video, so just remember that's what that means. Your radical symbol and your radicand. If your index is 2, so if you have a 2 out here, and let's say 36, that is your square root, so that's what we know. You can omit this 2. You don't have to write the 2 if it's just a square root. It is implied that it's a square root if you just have a radical symbol over a number. But what does that index really mean? Like when you're doing a square root, you know the square root of 36 is 6, but really why is that? So if we break this down, you can break a radical, your radicand using multiplication. So 6 times 6. So your 2 is basically you're looking for a pair of numbers. You're looking for two numbers that are the same. So when you do 6 times 6, hey look, you have 2 6s. So you can pull a 6 out and it leaves nothing inside. So you're pulling out basically pairs. So you have pair 6, pull the 6 out. So that equals 6. So you're looking for pairs of 2s. And this works for like if you have a cube root. So let's say you have a 3 as your index. And it's 24. So the cube root of 24. So what you do is you break down the 24. So let's do 2 times 12. Okay, well your 12 can break down even more. So 2 times 2 times 6. Okay, well there's still no 3 numbers that are the same, so let's keep going. 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. So if you look here, you have 3 2's. That is the same number as your index. That's 3. So you can pull that 2 out. So that's 2 cube root of 3 equals the cube root of 24. Now you can't break 3 down anymore. So this is your simplified version. So whatever your index is, that's how many numbers you need to pull out a number. So you know you have 3, so you needed 3 2's. Or if it's a larger number, sometimes like if you had, so the cube root of 6 times 6 times 6, you can pull out the 3 6's. So you take the 3 equals 6. So that is what your index is really used for. So if you have a 5 as your index, you're looking for 5 numbers. If you're looking, 6 numbers, and etc., etc. Now we're going to look at the laws of radicals. Let's do those in green. Laws of radicals. Okay, let's move down even more. Some of these we've already kind of gone over. So if you have, for when we're going over this, I'm going to be using n, m, and a and b instead of x's. So if you have, n radical to the a raised to the n, that equals a. And this is because of your law of fractional exponents that we went over above. Because if we rewrite this would be a to the 1 to the n power. And we would multiply the exponents together because of the law of exponents, and that's a to the n over n, and your n's cancel, which gives you 1, and a to the 1 is a, and that's why that works. Our next law is n a to the n equals, so this is 1, this is 2, is n a raised to, oh, this needs to be m, sorry, m, different number, to the m, and we went over this above. 3, where's my pen? Come on. 3 is n a times b equals okay, and this only works if your indexes are the same. So if you had, let's do this in red over here. If you had n to the a times m to the b, you can't combine them. Your indexes have to be the same for this. Okay, back to green. 4 n square root of a divided by b equals n root a over n root b. And this is the same thing. Your indexes have to be the same for this to work backwards. If so, indexes are both have to be the same number. It can't be a cube root and a square root. It has to be both square roots or both cube roots or both fifth roots or etc. So indexes have to be the same. I'll make a note. Indexes have to be the same. Alright. 5. If you have m n, this is m times n to the a. So if you have a root with in a root, you multiply your two indexes together. And then important, so those are all our laws of radicals, and they're pretty simple to remember. A side note here is when you see a radical, you want it in the simplest form. So you want radical in S-I-M-P-L-I in simplest form. And that's what we did up here, is you're writing them in the simplest form. So your your cube root of 24 in the simplest form is this over here. So, simplest form. Let's do another example. So let's look at the fourth root of 144. Okay, so this is, so we're looking for four numbers that are the same when we multiply. So let's break this down. So, and also the bigger the root, the smaller the number will probably be. So we want to start with 2. So you're going to be basically using a factor tree. We're gonna be factoring this down. So 2 times 72, or 2 times 2 times 36. 2 times 2 times 2 times 18. Because basically what we're doing is 2 times 72. This is 144. Then you're breaking 72 down to 2 times 36. Then you're breaking your 36 down to 2 times 18. 18, not 81. My dyslexia for you. And then you're breaking down your 18 to times 9. So this gives you your fourth root of 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 9. So you have your 4 2's. So you can pull that out. So that equals 2 fourth root of 9. And that is the simplest form. Now a great thing to remember is if you're pulling out a number. So let's go back up here to your to the square root of 36. Let's say you didn't go straight to 6 times 6. Let's say we did it the way we factored it. So let's erase this and do it again. So equals the square root of 2 times 36 divided by 2. 1, 2, 1, 6, 18. No, 16. Say 16. Yeah, so 18. 2 times 18. And then we do 2 times 2 times 9. And your 9 breaks down to 3 times 3. So this is 2. 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. Okay, well now we have two numbers that have, so you have a 2 and a 3. So you pull out your 2 first, or your 3 first, it really doesn't matter. So 2 square root of 3 times 3. When you pull out the 3, you're going to multiply that by the 2. And so that equals 3 times 2, which equals 6. So if you break it down, you have more than one number that has your index number. So you have 2 2's, or if you have the fourth, or you have 4 4's and 4 5's or whatever. You pull that out and then you multiply it. So pull 2 out, pull 3 out, and you multiply those two numbers together, which equals 6. Well, in this case, equals 6, or equals whatever. So that's radicals. You can, if you're working with radicals in an equation. Whoa, I didn't know I could do that. Interesting. That's so cool. In doing radicals, you can undo radical. So let's say you have a radical of 3x equals 180. Okay. You can raise each side. So basically, I would rewrite this because this is x to the 1/3 equals 180. So then if you raise that to the index, so 2, 3, to the power 3, you raise this side to the power 3, it'll make this x 3 over 3, which is x to the 1. So x equals whatever 180 cubed is. So that's how you undo a radical if you're solving an equation. You raise it to the power of whatever your index is. So yeah, this is Math with Tiffany. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next time.